Hi everyone, this is Barbara Powell Art Studio. Today I'm going to take you through some brush strokes, and we're going to do it like on a wet canvas. And for beginners, it's very important to know that when we do a painting and it's wet on wet, we need some kind of a medium. And so today I'm going to take some liquid white, and I have a brush that already started some liquid white on here. And liquid white is really a very thin titanium paint, and you can see it's very soupy. But to do this painting on wet, we need something to make our paint slide easier. I have left a little patch here that I didn't put any liquid white on. But you can see I'm just filling this up very carefully. And I'm going to do a fingertip test. And a fingertip test is merely something that we have to check to see if this is just the right consistency. If you can see your fingerprints after you put liquid white on, then the paint canvas is just right to get started. So I will pick up one of my towels. I told you they're so easy. You'll need a lot of these when you're doing wet on wet painting for your hands, and also I wipe off my brush before I set it down. But I'm not going to clean this. I can clean this in odorless paint thinner, and I recommend that. Don't ever go to Lowe's and get a odorless paint thinner, because it's got other chemicals in it which could actually ruin your brushes. So I'm going to go ahead and to show you some of these strokes, I'd like to put a little bit of background on here so you would be able to tell what I'm doing. You'll be able to see it better if I'm going to use white against blue or blue against white. So I'm going to take this brush and I'm going to pull down some phthalo blue, and it's a very beautiful sky blue. But when you have a natural brush, you want to really pound it open like this to open the hairs, and so I don't have any clump on there. And to do a wet on wet painting, we're going to do strokes, and we're going to do X's like this, and that kind of blends the paint. As I put it on up here, I always put that on the top part of the canvas and let it lose paint as I come down. Because if I was doing a sky, I would want the horizon to be lighter. As you notice, I'm pulling down, and it is actually getting lighter and lighter. And I have not added any paint to this brush. So, and if I was going to also pull water, I would always pull water straight with this brush. And you notice I have not loaded this brush but that one time. You can see how much paint this brush really holds. So you can see how I do X's in the sky, but when you do water, it always is level, so you always pull straight with that. So you can see this brush right away is very versatile. Now, I can either clean this brush out and go ahead and use it just for blending, but it's nice to have a couple brushes so you don't have to always stop and pick up another brush. So I will lay this down, and I will pick up a really nice 2-inch brush and put this down so you can really see what I'm demonstrating. And I will hold this, and now I can blend this sky very, very smooth. And I can, you notice how it's getting lighter as I come down. And so I'm blending it, and you can, because I have liquid white under there, it's actually picking up some liquid white, and you can see that even helps make this paint spread very easily. And then I can just pull across and smooth this out, and I'm actually setting this paint right down into the canvas. So I wanted to show you these two brushes that I demonstrated are very nice to use for when you're doing skies and water. And then you just take paper towels, and you can clean your brush if you have a little bucket with a paint thinner rack in it where you can put this in paint thinner and wash this out. But I found that it's very easily to keep just using paper towels and getting the most off. Because if I'm going to go to the next color, sometimes a darker color, it'll just cover that blue will not matter on there. So Now I'm going to take you what some of these other brushes might do for you and show you some of the strokes. And this little fan brush is one of my favorites to do. And if I were going to make some clouds up here, I can actually pick up a lot of paint. And you really have to load that brush. I find with my students, a lot of times they can't, these clouds are really thick, but I'm finding out they're not really putting enough paint on this brush. I can do clouds many ways, and when I am doing clouds, we are circling around, and you go right off the canvas because you don't want to shut in. If you notice now how that on this corner is all blue, I can now flip over and do the top of another cloud here. I'm not concerned with the bottom, I'm only concerned with that top. So you see I'm going to stop here and add a little bit more white, but this is where you want to have a little paper towel and you can get the excess off. So I can pick up a little bit more white, and maybe I want to get this a little bit dark. Do you notice I'm doing a circle like this? I'm only concerned with this brush for the top, and I'm just adding a lot of white on this towel. And think of different shapes on a cloud, and I'll show you how we can make that cloud look like there's one in front of it. So I will place this down, go back to the 2-inch, and you can see I dried it off as much as I could. But I'm going to go ahead and show you how I can bring, never touching the very top of that cloud. I'm holding this brush on an angle, and I'm circling it, and I'm going to let that liquid white that's already down, that white liquid white I showed you, I'm pulling down, never touching the very top. And look how I can just keep blending and blending, and I can get the filling of the bottom of a cloud. Then you can just go up with it, and you don't want to go straight up. It will look like rain. We want to circle it over here like this, and you just lightly pull these little lines that come up from here. Now watch how I can take this same favorite brush of mine, which is the fan brush, and go into this. And because I left a lot of blue here, I don't want the same shape. You wouldn't want to just do the same thing. I would start maybe here. And see that little darker blue? Look how I'm changing the shape. And I'm going to bring this out like this. I'm just putting it on the top. But I allowed all this up here. Now you put that back. Pick this up again. Just dry it off a little bit. I always have a paper towel to work with. Hold this on an angle, never touching the very top of that cloud. I'm going to go ahead and circle this cloud. You can continue doing this until you get a whole range of clouds. Go like this, very hardly touching. I'm just pulling up around. This is kind of a C-type of pull, and then just lightly go across. And now I'm blending it back into that. That is doing clouds with this fan brush. But let me show you another way you can do a cloud. And now, remember I told you about the palette knives? You know, sometimes when you pull that paint, it gets flattened. You need paint to paint. So have that there, wipe your brush off, pick a lot of this up, right like this. You see, that's a dirty blue brush. Here's another way you can do clouds. You can tap. I'm going to hold this because we're going to do some pouncing. Now these are a different type, like cumulus clouds. And you can see how I'm just getting a different effect. I can come up here. It's not as soft as that, but I'm only concerned. Now see how when this happens, that shows me I need to reload. So you're going to pick up more paint, and you're going to come back here, and you see how I'm tapping? We need this bounce, and that's why we're using a canvas, not a canvas board. So we're going to really bounce, and you can see that if it's not as white as you want, you see why? If I let that just go down flat like that, I'm not really picking up paint. So look how much I have left. It looks like you don't have anything. So I can wipe this excess blue off that I picked up and go right into some more of this white, which has a little tint in it, and I can see how I can bring it here. Now this will give you a different effect. Now I'm already getting the blue underneath this from this, and that's what I was trying to get, more like clouds that are getting a little bit stormy. And you just take this, and you just, I never touch the top. You always want to leave that whiter. And it gives you a different kind of effect of a cloud, softer. And this is if you want to put clouds like behind a mountain and you want them to be more subdued. That would just be perfect. So today was a lesson on how to do clouds, how to use your fan brush, how to use this nice 2-inch and this 1-inch. And the next time I'm going to take you through all these other brush strokes and maybe incorporate into a picture while I'm showing you all this technique. We'll actually end up with a nice little painting, okay? So tune in again. This is Barbara Powell, Barbara Powell's Art Studio. Thanks for watching, guys, and I hope to see you again. Bye-bye.